Signing on. It's a great Monday. Today, Monday, the 23rd of March, 2026. So already the 23rd. We are sprinting away. March is nearly done and April steps in very soon. That's my birthday month. So I look forward. I always enjoy April. By all means, let's see what's happening via the front page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. I hope you had yourself a great weekend. We will open the lines later and get a chance to reflect. But let's see what's happening via the news cycle. And this story out of Cedros last week that broke many a heart, including mine, because yet again, we find ourselves asking the questions as to why are our women being targeted and being dealt with in such a brutal manner. Young, budding cricketer, Cedros, quiet Cedros. You don't hear nothing in Cedros? And here it is. I would imagine her colleagues and those within the sphere of cricket would have given her a hero's exit. And it's sad, gone too soon. The potential, never getting a chance to really fulfill the destiny. And you're seeing the pain etched on the face of family members, well-wishers alike. Too sad. Really, really sad. And it's heartbreaking, honestly, to start the day and week via these circumstances. But we have to treat with what's happening there. And again, the call is for my fellow brothers to take it down, man. Talk to somebody. Seek help. Find somebody to express sometimes your hurt and disappointment. And don't take it out on our sisters. We can't continue like this. It's too much. And it's truly heartbreaking. So, again, obviously, because again, I wasn't there, but when you understand the circumstance, she was at a home, acts of violence, that's something, these things happen with somebody that you know. And I trust that everyone will have their hands on deck to do a thorough investigation to find who would have been responsible for this heinous act. So that particular story here, taking the front page of the Guardian on this Monday morning. Also, Hilton fallout. I'm watching the development on page 5. I could not believe what I was reading this morning, because when we consider Hilton, an iconic location, many a graduation, many a wedding, many a weekend, so many great memories at the space. And I know they would have had some renovations. I know they did over the pool recently, and work's been going on. We were seeing stuff happening. I actually hosted an event at Hilton not this weekend before. And I didn't really see anything that was odd. Obviously, there's always room for improvement. I've not been in one of the Hilton rooms for quite a while, so I don't know what's the scenario with the rooms. But from what I'm seeing, there is a possibility, and let me just read a little bit of the Jesse Ramdio's story. It says, concerns over a possible exit by the international hotel chain Hilton. It's now sparking political debate. A Guardian media investigation reported that Hilton has begun steps towards withdrawing, hear this, from withdrawing, the state-owned property, citing long-standing structural issues, delayed capital upgrades, and financial underperformance. So you can read more about it. It's a really shocking story. And as I mentioned, I was there literally 2 weeks ago to host a major event at the ballroom. The food was nice. Drinks were flowing. The staff courteous as always. So this is a rather shocking revelation. You could read more via page 5. So again, we're watching that story here and the unfortunate demise and of course, Rashmi, who, when I saw that story and I told myself, Cedros, right there at her home, Again, condolences to the loved ones and to all of Cedros. I know, Cedros, your heart is broken this morning. Let's go to the back page, and then I'll transition into much happier news. Well, this is not really a happy story for me because my beloved Arsenal lost yesterday in the English Cup. 2-0 to, I'll have to say at this point in time, arch rivals. It's really a kind of 1-2 between Arsenal right now and Man City. They're keeping the pace with us via the Premier League. They have a game in hand. We have 9 points. We are 9 points clear. What I would have really loved for us to not only win yesterday, but to also get that psychological advantage, because I don't want Man City to start believing that, you know, they could just take the crown. You know, it's really ours to lose at this point in time. And people might say, you know, it's a small cup, but I wouldn't say that. Because if we won, we would have celebrated. So not because we didn't win the English Cup, I will say, well, hey, it's a small cup and we didn't really won that. If you're in the finals, to me, it's to win, right? Big cup, small cup, regardless. It's to win, and we didn't win. We didn't show up at all in the second half yesterday, and we lost, and we paid the ultimate price. But I hope it's the wake-up call that my beloved Arsenal needs to shake up and move towards the Premiership, towards the FA Cup, which we are still very much alive, and then, of course, the big one, the Champions League. Also, Matthew's impressed with the team fight. Aussies take 2-0 lead in the 3-match T20 series. So it's a foregone conclusion. The Aussies would have won the series, but Matthew's still impressed with the team fight, and hopefully we could still get one in the 3-match series, at least to give the women West Indies a little boost. All right? Let's see what's happening via the brief. Lots of smiles and lots of activities over the weekend. So I'm seeing here a Member of Parliament for Port of Spain South, Keith Scotland, enjoys a moment with children in a bouncy castle during the Eid al-Fitr 2026 celebrations there in Laventille at the Masjid in Laventille. So this transpired on Saturday. And also lawyers trade robes for aprons at the CBA's, that's the Criminal Bar Association Lawyers Could Cook event. So you're seeing the Israel Khan, SC, the opposition leader, Penelope Beckles, and they're posing there with a law student, Sophia Rodriguez, at the Lawyers Can Cook event in Maraca, St. Joseph on Saturday afternoon. Sophia, you know, nice picture here. You know, you're between two, I guess, legends in their own right, one within the political realm, the next one within the legal profession. And to all the lawyers, the budding ones, the already established lawyers, you know, good morning to you. And I know the work is not an easy, it's not an easy road, but you all trod along. All right, so by all means, all the best. Let's get ready for the boss report. Now, during the course of the morning, probably before the calls, I want to treat with what I experienced yesterday at the USC, University of the Southern Caribbean, for their Portraits of Excellence. And let me say, it is one of the highlights of my year. What a tremendous show, a great showcase, and a celebration of youth, of excellence, of young people making a decision to step up and to be part of the solution and to showcase their talent. So congratulations there indeed to Maya and I believe it was Nicholas, Mr. and Miss USC Portraits of Excellence 2026, and they will march on to represent with distinction. Well done to USC, and I'll elaborate some more inside the second hour. Up next, the boss report. Surud, he's back, and he gives us all the latest with the big movers and shakers in business. Boss report, up next.
Introducing the new Sun Mix Nut Bar. Available in 3 delicious flavors: granola raisin nut, almond cranberry crunch, and coconut almond crisp. All packed on a rich bed of dark chocolate.
Taste the good life, snack right. Taste the good life anytime. Good life. Sun Mix.
Sunshine Snacks Sun Mix Nut Bar. Taste the good life.
Period nights don't have to look like this. Move less, wake up to change. So change for a real night's sleep with Always Overnight. Its 3 times protection system absorbs, locks the fluid, and keeps it away from your skin. For protected nights without leaks. Always.
Looking for the ultimate gaming experience? Welcome to Phase 22 Gaming Lounge, where gamers of all ages come to play, compete, and have fun. Dive into your favorite games on PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, or race on our high-tech racing rigs. And experience the thrill of VR with PlayStation and Meta Quest. Our lounge is safe, comfortable, and perfect for everyone. When you're done, check out the latest gaming systems, accessories, and even Samsung and Apple phones. Visit us on the second floor of Gulf City Mall or call 786-2404 to book your gaming session today.
Okay, let me see you, Cherry Hill. Yeah, now take it back. Let me see you rock off, shake off. Let me see you rock off. Let me see you kick right. Now step forward, now step back.
Lucozade, bring the energy. Unbeatable taste, new look.
Shake off. Let me see you rock off.
Our connection is reliable, credible, and authentic. Thank you for trusting me to bring you the news. It's a privilege to be in your homes and hearts. With every story and every newscast, CNC3 is keeping you informed and inspired. When it comes to news, we are where you are.
Back with us on this Monday morning, and let's treat with the Boss Report. Sarud, great to see you again. Good morning.
Good morning, JW, and good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and welcome to the Boss Report. Well, today we're taking a look at financial results of two of the larger Canadian-owned but publicly listed on the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange banks. Of course, we're talking about CIBC Caribbean as well as Scotiabank Trinidad and Tobago. Now, both banking groups that have reported marginally lower results for differing reasons. Let's take a look at what they would have reported and what investors might expect in the coming months ahead. Turning firstly to Scotia. For their first fiscal quarter of 2026, the group would have reported an earnings per share figure of 91 cents, which was a 3.5% decline from the 94 cents recorded in that prior comparable first quarter of 2025. Now, driving that performance was overall increases in revenue, with net interest income up 1.8% from 382 million to just under 390 million. Overall total revenues up around 5% from 494 odd million to 518 million. Non-interest expenses, however, did increase a whopping 15.3% from 206 to 238 odd million, with profit after taxes ultimately declining 3.6% from 166 million to just about $160 million. Now, when we take a look at that revenue growth broken down by segment, we can see net interest income was relatively flat, just up about 2% from 382 to just around 390 million in that purplish segment, with other income up around 16% from 111 to 129 million over the comparable quarters. Now, the big news, of course, has been that increase in the operating efficiency ratio, which suggests that expenses as a proportion, or non-interest expenses as a proportion of overall revenue, has been increasing. And that figure would have jumped from 41.8% to just under 46%. And of course, that would have been driven in a very large part by the introduction of an asset levy on assets of banks and insurers, of whose assets are in Trinidad and Tobago. So that was the major reason, of course, as reported by Scotia, for that increase in the efficiency ratio. A lower efficiency ratio is actually a better thing in this particular instance. When you take a look at the asset composition of Scotia Trinidad, we can see that it is pretty much fairly stable over the prior comparable quarter, with total loans of around 20.7 billion, accounting for just about 2/3 of total assets. So, of course, primary focus for Scotia, like most of the banks, has been and will continue to be lending for the foreseeable future. When we take a look at a valuation perspective, we can see that Scotia is trading at that price earnings ratio of about 11.5 times, which is on the slightly higher end of the sector, with only CIBC trading at a higher price earnings multiple of around 12.8 times. And of course, that sector average hovering at around 9.1 times. So slightly expensive on a relative value basis. But however, Scotia does offer fairly attractive dividend yield of 6.2% compared to that sector average of 5.5%. So with that revenue growth in mind, keeping an eye on those higher non-interest expenses, of course, certain market uncertainties, which could impact performance overall at a global level, not just a national level, and above sector average valuations. BOSS is maintaining its market watch rating on Scotia for the time being with a watch outlook. Turning very quickly to CIBC, well, that group would have reported an earnings per share figure in TT equivalent of 21 cents per share, 8.8% lower than the 23 cents reported in that prior comparable period. Now, like Scotia, total revenues were up just around 5.4% from 1.24 to 1.31 billion. TT equivalent operating expenses, however, did increase that 7.5% from 750 odd million to just over the $800 million mark. Ultimately, net income attributable to equity holders declined 9.7% from 363 million TT equivalent to just about 328 odd million. Again, when in similar fashion with CIBC and revenue trends, that overall revenue was up 5.4%. Net interest income fairly flat, increasing just about 0.5 to 0.6% from 901 to 907 million, with roughly 17 to 18% increase in operating income from 342 million to 403 million in that pinkish segment. And when we take a look at contribution or PBT, or contribution to PBT before administrative adjustments, of course, we can see some notable changes. Corporate and investment banking, the largest contributor, up just around 3% in that blue segment from 290 million to just about 298 million TT equivalent. However, that was offset by a decline in personal and business banking PBT from 145 to 108 million, a roughly 25% decline, with 30% rather increase in wealth management from 10 to 13 million TT equivalent. Of course, the smallest segment in terms of profit before tax contribution, or CIBC. Again, from that valuation perspective, CIBC is at the higher end of the banking sector multiples. So at that price of $8.25, again, trading at 12.8 times in terms of its price earnings ratio, above the sector average of 9.1 times, and offering investors a 4.1% dividend yield, which is below the sector dividend yield average of 5.5%. However, importantly, CIBC does remit its dividend payments in US dollars, which might be one of the driving factors for its valuation support, even with lower earnings overall and a relatively lower dividend yield. So keeping that in mind, as well as revenue growth and those higher income taxes, BOSS is maintaining its market weight outlook for the time being on CIBC with a watch outlook. Well, that's it for this week's edition. For more information, you can give us a call at 226-8773, email us at info@bossfinancial.com, and of course, you can check out our website, bossinvestment.com, where all of our research is absolutely free, and you can catch this article in today's business section of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian newspaper. So until next time, stay safe, happy investing, and we'll see you again on the Bosch Report.
Struggling with blood sugar swings, high blood pressure, or stiff joints? Take control with Aja Nutrition's powerful wellness trio. Berberine Plus supports healthy blood sugar. Blood pressure support helps keep your pressure in check. And Joint Aid keeps your joints moving so you can stay active every day. Don't wait. Choose Aja Nutrition for trusted, effective solutions. Available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Feel better, move better, live better with Aja Nutrition.
My man, Andre.
Good night, Anthony.
7 years with the company, and we couldn't do it without Antoine.
Happy birthday, dear Alejandro. Happy birthday to you.
Who's Angelo?
We're like coworkers who don't forget your name.
I'm Angelo.
CG United. Good like that.
Struggling with picky eating? Or unexplained loss of appetite? Or tired of trying to gain weight with no results? Apetamin is here to help. This powerful appetite stimulant encourages healthier eating, supports weight gain, and improves BMI, perfect for both adults and children. Only Apetamin contains lysine, an essential amino acid that boosts appetite, builds muscle, supports growth, and aids calcium absorption. Take control of your appetite and reach your weight gain goals with Apetamin. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
This is more than just music. This is where you find the best of TNT. This is more than just a vibe. This is where Bollywood gets a twist. This is more than just energy. This is Bhangra and indie pop too. This is the mix. This is the life. Lock on or log on now. Sangeet 106.1 FM. This is authentic East Indian radio. This is us.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
This season, Ask the Doctor is at a new time. It's your weekly prescription for trusted medical advice. In the Doctor's Capsule, Dr. Tilak Singh breaks down big health topics clearly and simply. Get a dose of smiles in the Kiddies Capsule as our youngest experts share health tips with heart. Explore the science behind the headlines in Medical Minds, featuring real doctors, real insight, and your questions matter. Join the open forum live and get answers straight from the source. Ask the Doctor, every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on CNC3.
Dr. Indira Sajiwan joins me, economist. And it's an important conversation with Dr. Sajiwan because we are looking at developments out of the Middle East. Mind you, it's miles away, but its impact will and can be felt already in certain parts of the world, and ultimately for us here in the Caribbean, when we consider the Strait of Hormuz and the fact that it could cause increases in oil, in disruption in the supply chain. So much is going on, and let's get a chance to unpack and to really go through the layers with Dr. Sajiwan this morning. I want to say a warm welcome to you, Dr. Sajiwan. Always a pleasure to have you on the program.
Good morning, Jason. Always a pleasure to be here. Good morning to you. Good morning to your viewers.
Indeed. I want to ask you, as we get into our conversation, what's the immediate economic fallout? Obviously, we are seeing where many countries would have condemned what's happening. They are looking at the developments out of the Strait of Hormuz and its geographical location being right there next to Iran, and Iran being in a defensive mode at this point in time and deciding to treat with any ship or anyone that's associated with the U.S. and Israel and who they perceived would have attacked them first, basically. So we're looking at the war, and yes, we could have discussions from now till I'm sure the sun sets this evening about the war itself, but walk us through the economic fallout. What's the short, medium, and long-term impact of this war?
Sure. Well, the immediate impact, obviously, Jason, is the near closure of the Strait of Hormuz. And that is significant because 20% of the world's energy, oil and gas, actually passes through this particular very narrow strait and enters the world market. As a consequence of this war, we've already seen the price of oil escalate quite significantly. You know, in case of Trinidad and Tobago, we budgeted our oil price at about $75 per barrel. Up to February, we were realizing lower than that particular 75. We were realizing in the vicinity of about $60-something per barrel. This will now potentially push us significantly higher than that. The global price of oil has crossed beyond $100 per barrel. And Trinidad and Tobago, even though we're not a major exporter of oil, we are a major exporter of LNG and petrochemicals, and the price of these products tend to follow the price of oil. So when there is a crisis like we're seeing and the price of oil goes up, the price of LNG petrochemicals tend to follow. Now, this is good news for Trinidad and Tobago, certainly in the short term, because it means that we could potentially now be in a position to enjoy a windfall as a consequence of the war that is taking place here. So that is, from our perspective, that is one of the first and potentially the positive impact that we can see. We've already heard the Minister of Energy even attempt to give some numbers to what he anticipates the windfall to be. I won't quote any numbers this morning because I think it is still early days for us, and we still, it's a wait and see in terms of the overall impact, but that is the positive impact.
Let me ask.
Jason, yes, go ahead.
I was going to just ask, in terms of what might probably work in favor on the front end, when I'm looking at the back end now as it pertains to that 20% that you mentioned of the world's oil, I know that particular Strait of Hormuz is a strategic pipeline for places like China, Japan, a lot of places that we do business with and we get products from. So if indeed it impacts the Chinese economy, how does that now trickle down to us where we get so much of our goods, our products? I mean, we're talking everything from cars to you name it. It's made in China there on that side of the world. What impact could it do to China and ultimately China's fallout with us?
Well, it's not just China. It is the fact that as a consequence of this war, now we're talking about some of the negative impacts, right? So, because it's not all good news. So the potential bad news is that a lot of fertilizers used in agriculture also passes through this particular stream. The supply chains in terms of shipping is significantly impacted. We've heard about the bombing of ships that are involved in transportation. The result is supply chains are affected, which means the volume of inputs, raw materials that we could potentially need, the export of food, for example, could be impacted negatively. It means that the cost of shipping, which has already started to go up, because if the price of oil goes up, and that is the major fuel source for the shipping industry, then the price of shipping goes up. If the price of shipping goes up, that is inflationary. So that one of the fallout of this particular war is that we are potentially going to see a global increase in the prices of critical things, food being one of the most important ones. And I mean, we know following COVID, following the war in Ukraine and Russia, we already saw the global economy, not just Trinidad and Tobago, really suffer from very high inflation, high imported inflation. We're here again. And what is interesting is just before this war, the world was kind of finally starting to stabilize. Inflation was coming quite very much under control, hovering below 4%. Growth was starting to recover again, even though lower than what we would have liked. We saw global growth in the vicinity about 3%, although regional growth was less than that. And now we are potentially talking about a global stagflation, global recession. If these things hit, it is not just that we are going to suffer higher prices of goods and services, but we could even potentially be affected down the road by a reduction in the demand for what we export and the demand for our LNG and for our petrochemicals. That could potentially be another fallout depending on how the global economy responds to the war, depending on how long the war continues. At this point in time, it is anybody's guess what will happen tomorrow. I mean, I don't think the world has ever been through so much chaos and so much chaos that just kind of falls upon us. Almost every morning when you get up, there is something. So it is very difficult in this point in time to say what exactly, but these are the potential fallouts that we're looking at. And
more so the Middle East. Now, we have known the Middle East to be a hotbed for quite a while, but when we consider the more moderate countries there, the Dubai, the Qatars, the Omans of the world, and especially with Dubai, what we're seeing with their particular real estate product being downgraded, lots of people, especially the Brits, who go there on vacation, it's well established, about 90 million people passed through there last year. It's the busiest airport in the world. So I wonder, with tourists choosing to go elsewhere, could we in the Caribbean, on an economic standpoint, and it's so sad to even try to find the light in this dark cloud, but I guess that's what we have to do when we crunch the numbers. Do you think out of that 90 million, the people who go there to do business, the people more so who go there to relax and rest, could we probably find a way to get them coming to this side of the world? Because I'm sure they would not be heading there anytime soon.
Well, it is not just so simple, Jason, because remember, the world economy is affected. And then people's capacity to be able to travel, regardless of where they reside, is going to be affected. We already see the start of the price of transport, air transport, for example, go up. So it's going to become more and more difficult for the tourism.
So you think this could impact global tourism, Dr. Sajiwan?
Absolutely. And in the Caribbean, I say the Caribbean, for example, right? Most of our sister islands, they're net importers of fuel. And we didn't even talk about the fact that in Trinidad and Tobago, while we may enjoy the benefit of increased revenues as a consequence of higher prices of our LNG and petrochemicals and oil, and that will redound, obviously, to the benefit government could enjoy increased royalties, so increased revenues into government coffers. We can see increase in inflows of our foreign exchange, ease up our foreign exchange crisis. So we could see those things happening. But remember, we import the fuel that goes into our vehicles. And we have been talking for quite a while now about the negative impact of the closure of Petrotrin and the high usage by Paria of our foreign exchange in order to bring in the oil. So if the price of oil has gone up, it means that the price of fuel will go up. Now, we may be lucky in Trinidad because it's subsidized, but the government is going to take the hit because it means the subsidy the government is paying for us to be able to fuel at a fixed price at the pump. They are going to be having to pay a higher price. In most of the sister islands, that's not the case. They don't have the subsidy. So it means that the economy is going to be hit immediately by this increased cost of fuel. The region is our major market, so our non-energy exports. We export most of what we produce in the non-energy manufacturing sector to the Caribbean region. If their purchasing power goes down because they now have to allocate more and more money to fuel, their cost of operation goes up because fuel impacts everything. We could potentially down the road. And now remember, we're projecting. So I'm not giving you a timeline, but I say potentially if we see contraction in the region, that affects us. It affects our non-energy export quite significantly. We, for some of our exporters, export into Europe, export into some of these countries in the Middle East, and we could therefore see their exports being negatively impacted as a consequence of this war.
Let me ask you, Dr. Sajiwan, and it's a discussion that comes up in many a line, many a discourse, whether it's in a maxi, people will just always bring up this particular issue, and we're talking here the actual currency and the US dollar, and what could be the potential fallout of this particular war with the US dollar, and the suggestion that some countries might move towards this BRICS bloc. They might move towards using another dollar. How do you see it through your economic lens? The US dollar, where are they still strong? Will they still sustain? And the US economy on a whole, could it sustain a long-lasting war with Iran and the Middle East, with all that you would have mentioned and the potential fallout of this said war?
But Jason, I don't think so. I think before the war, there was already starting to be some negative impact on the U.S. economy. Remember, there's all the tariffs that the U.S. economy would have imposed on many countries that it imports and enjoy the benefit of lower inputs into its own production process, lower cost of final goods and services coming into the United States economy. And while there was a buoyancy that was happening in the U.S. economy, what we saw in recent time, just predating the war, is we started to see an amount of slowdown of the U.S. economy. We also started to see, even before the war, many countries that depended quite heavily on the U.S. economy when President Trump made a decision to impose severe taxes on its importing partners. We started to see a shift in terms of these economies attempting to create new arrangements, new trading arrangements. Canada, case in point. Recently, we saw Canada getting together with many European countries in order to form a new arrangement that will allow trade to take place in a much easier fashion. So that was happening even before the war, and I imagine we will see an escalation of that kind of shifting, and people looking more and more to find ways, countries looking more and more to find ways where they can engage in international trade, because that's a bloodline of most economies. You have to trade. No country is an island on itself. You have to export, you have to import. So more and more we're going to see countries finding new mechanisms to engage in exports. And yes, potentially the weakening of the U.S. currency.
Because ultimately, when empires try to expand, and we have seen it throughout history, every empire that looks to expand end up, for some reason, running themselves thin. And, you know, a military engagement, it costs a lot of money. And we are seeing where there seems to be no particular strategy, lots of different shifting arguments as to the reason for this said war. And I think it's, as I would have told one of the guests last week, you might win the battle, but you can never win the war. To beat an ideology is a really tough ask. And with the 90 plus 92 million Iranians there living and scattered throughout the world, this is probably going to be a long haul. And I really wonder, where will the U.S. stand? Because we have so much interest there. That's our largest business and trading partner. We have family there. All of us have some niece, nene, a cousin, somebody we love lives there. And I wonder, where will their standing be in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years?
Well, it's very difficult to say, as you're saying, Jason, because I don't think, it certainly appears, and all the experts are certainly saying it, I don't think the United States really expected the Iranians to be able to carry this war to the extent that they have been. And there are also those experts who say it was short-sighted of them not to have this expectation, because Iran clearly was preparing for this kind of attack for a very, very long time, and taking out their major military establishments has not impacted it in the way that the U.S. would have hoped that it would have. And we're seeing them continue the war. We're seeing them really threatening to bring the world economy to its feet. And that's a very scary proposition. You know, it's almost as if we were now starting to breathe. The world was starting to breathe again following so many disruptions, pandemic, even though the Ukraine-Russian war is still going on, but, you know, that we were balancing off after it's been going on for a while. You know, we had what happened in Venezuela. It wasn't as bad as we had anticipated. And things seem to have been settling down a bit, and then this. And nobody knows in this point in time, nobody could predict how long it's going to last and what the lasting impact is going to be, particularly on the U.S. economy. You know, I mean, the jury, I think, is very much out, but as an economy, Trinidad and Tobago, we have to be at this moment in time, Jason, very strategic. To me, more than ever, I know we were starting to become, I was fearing, we were starting to become a little bit complacent because energy was looking hopeful again, and we were seeing signs where, you know, Dragonfield might be coming on, Manatee, and looking at supplies being shored up, returning us to our potentially our peak level maybe by 2020, 2030, and things being good again. But more than ever, Jason, now the imperative is for us to refocus on the issue of export diversification and looking at other sectors that we can be developed in to be able to level up. Because as I'm saying, in the shortest of term, there is benefit in terms of the energy sector. But going down the road, depending on what this war results in, if we see global recession, we're in trouble.
And, you know, that's great advice there for the business interest. But my question to you as we look to wind down the conversation would be advice through your lens as an economist. What would you say to, let's say, Maria in Malabar, Curtis in Charlottesville, Peter in Point Fortin, the average man and woman who get up and they're going through their routine of work, clocking their card, trying to just make the ends meet? What's your advice to those looking on this morning in this ever-changing economic time, considering what's happening on the global stage and in the global theater of war? What's your advice to Trinidad and Tobago with their spend?
Yes. Well, what I would say to them is, don't think that this war is far away and it's not going to impact you. It is going to impact you. It's already impacting us. Do not get carried away with the fact that, okay, there's a potential oil boom coming, oil and gas boom, and money's going to flow into the economy of Trinidad and Tobago, because it's not so simple. Our pockets are going to be impacted. Inflation is going to rear its ugly head again. We have been able to control it, even though the rate of price increases slowed down. It is still, we're still reeling from all that took place, and we are all finding it difficult to make ends meet. That could potentially worsen. So be a little bit careful in terms of how you manage your pockets, because it could become increasingly more difficult for you to stretch your dollar. And we know we're in an environment where jobs are really not being created. Government spoke about its revitalization plan, but in an environment, a global environment like we're seeing, it could be negatively impacted. Investors may be hesitant to make investment decision at this point in time. Both domestic as well as foreign direct investment may think a little bit twice in terms of how they spend their money at this point in time. So brace for the potential negative impact. If it doesn't happen, great. But if it does happen, then we are well prepared to be able to ensure that you can rally through what takes place.
Dr. Sajiwan, as always, sincere thanks. Great conversation. Any closing remarks as we wrap things up this morning?
Yeah, my closing remarks again, and I speak indirectly to government. Don't be complacent in this moment. More than ever, the issue of non-energy diversification is an imperative. Let us get on with the business of trying to do that, because we need to look more and more south-south. As this is happening, our major trading partner is affected. We tend to just generally look north, look to Europe, look to all of these countries, but we need to become a lot more strategic in this moment in terms of how we prepare the economy of Trinidad and Tobago to be able to survive this war and prepare ourselves to not be as vulnerable as we are, and we continue to be in the face of global challenges over which we have no control.
Dr. Sajiwan, sincere thanks, and we will touch base soon. All the best.
Same to you, Jason.
Yes, Dr. Indira Sajiwan, economist, treating with the global fallout. And when we say global, we mean global. As far removed as we are, we will and continue to be impacted. So I guess it's to put your ducks in a row and stay on top of what's happening. That's why we have these important conversations, and we give thanks. Let's take that pause. We come back. We deal with some housekeeping, ways to connect with us and to join me on the set. I'll give you all the details. That's coming up next.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488 or visit our website to order.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry, premier insurance coverage for less.
Succeed with Rand Credit Union, you can believe that you can achieve. Big goals, small ones too. Rand Credit Union, we've got you. No more waiting, that won't do. Make someday today. One life, so make it good. Live the way you know you should. With Rand Credit Union, yes you could. Make someday today.
Live your best life today with Rand Credit Union.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Each day I ask myself, how can our country be better than it was yesterday? We all hope for a better society, but not many understand the power of their influence to change the world around them. A small act of kindness holds as much power as a camera, a mic, or even a seat in the parliament when it comes to achieving societal development. I understand that my purpose extends beyond being a mere observer. I am an active participant in shaping the world around me. From the stories I write to the newscast I produce, it is my hope that everyone is heard and understood. We are where you are.
Don't miss the gripping drama Cabo. Sundays at 8 p.m. only on CNC3.
I got a bone to pick with you. Ladies, I'm talking about that 90-day thing.
Well, how that's bothering you?
Oh, but tell you how it's bothering me. I figure like this, ladies, if you're in your 20s, wait 90 days. If you're in your 30s, wait 60 days. If you're in your 40s, wait 30 days. But if you're over 50, jump on it.
Welcome back. Let's remind you ways to connect with the team. You're sending your email. Let's get pen and paper, or you could take a little picture on your phone. Take this down. You're sending your email to tmb@cnc3.co.tt. Simple, to the point, and I'm sure we will see you soon. All right, so we look forward. Let's head across to the social media information. It's at CNC3 News for Instagram, at CNC3 Television, Facebook at CNC3 TV, hashtag TMB via X, formerly Twitter. Very active on the social media, and we are also active via the CNC3 mobile app, TNT's #1 source for verified breaking news and all your favorite content there on demand. Get it today on your smartphone. We move to the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, 108 years of legacy, going strong here to stay with the new look and feel, and the fact that we have been able to pivot and adjust speaks volume. You must be agile, and naturally the papers would have been a particular size back then. The size changed, and now you could enjoy the Guardian on your desktop, tablet, or mobile when you visit guardian.co.tt. Let's get across to the food for thought. We call this segment Something to Think About. And Barack Obama once said, if you're walking down the right path and you're willing to keep walking, eventually you'll make progress. Again, if you're walking down the right path and you're willing to keep walking, eventually you'll make progress. My goodness, beautiful words. Up next, our weather update, and today's weather, mostly sunny with the low chance of the, I would say, cloudy spell with the isolated shower accompanying that cloudy spell. Now, that's going to happen mainly during the afternoon, not so much the morning. Now, tonight, my friends, will be fair. The maximum temperature is 32 degrees Celsius in Trinidad and 30 degrees Celsius in Tobago. It wasn't me, or last night was real cool. I find last night was cool. Yes, I find these nights, please kind of, I mean, I must say, this is like, so Saturday would have signaled, I would imagine, I think it was either Friday or Saturday, signal like the actual the earth cycle as it pertains to the new year, the first day of spring out there, what they call spring, and you're seeing like, you know, the fruits coming back and the earth is waking up again. You find last night was hot? I find last night was cold. My colleague Sheldon saying you find last night was hot. I say, but what's going on out here? I don't know. I guess according to where you are, right? Sometimes according to where you are, because there are certain areas that will make really cool and it will be breezy, and other places might be a little more on the humid side. But nonetheless, weather is changing, and it's some strange times. We just have to brace ourselves and just pray that come this season, when hurricane season comes around and all the other eventualities during the year, that it pass us straight, because I don't think we can handle with all that happening in Trinidad right now to deal with that. Oh, we can't make. Yeah. So let me tell you, coming up inside the next hour, Jude Rogers, acting fire sub officer. We're going to deal with a very important issue, and we are treating with the bushfires. I find for some reason, like, we do understand ourselves and we do treat with the environment with any regard and respect at all. I mean, I know it's not Jude's particular role to treat with the garbage collection and what's happening in that regard, but that in itself is the reason why some people, because they're not going to dispose of the said debris, they decide to burn it. People still doing the slash and burn, right? Clearing out land, you just want to clear out land and you burn down the whole lot. And we just lighten fire for no reason. I mean, coming into Port of Spain this morning, the place is smoky. Right now on the highway, coming into Port of Spain, if you're glass down, you will feel congested. It will cause a particular issue if you have any particular respiratory problems. So the reality is, the bushfire scenario, besides just the atmosphere being smoky and it smelling a kind of way, it's not good for the environment, and it could cause long-lasting impacts if the fire gets out of hand and people like Jude now have to run out and treat with that. And we're using up resources that could go towards something else. So that's a very important talking point, and I look forward to Jude Rogers giving some advice in that regard. Then later on, Dr. Winston Charles, Chief Nursing Officer. We're going to deal with the Grand Rounds lecture series. All right, so that's going to happen. And then to end things off, Dr. Jeremiah Mason, Baptist Senior Archbishop, dealing with the significance of Baptist Liberation Day, a very important holiday also ahead. So sit, relax, enjoy. We take the pause, we get ready for the 7 a.m. news update, and when we come back after 7, oh yes, we open the lines. Open forum, and then later on, Jude Rogers. See you soon. It's your Morning Brew on this Feel Good Monday.
Looking for a smart way to grow your savings? For just a limited time, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Credit Union is offering competitive fixed deposit rates of up to 4%. That's up to 4% guaranteed when you invest with PCU Fixed Deposit. Visit any of our locations in Barataria, Arima, San Fernando, or Tobago to get started today. For more details, visit policecreditunion.com or call us at 6124-PCU. PCU, your future is safe with us.
From all over Trinidad and Tobago, Anil wrapping roti at lightning fast speed.
Sandra nailing every order in her hardware.
Lisa, who is in sync with style. There is no buffering at her boutique.
And Dr. Alex filling prescriptions with care. They're all part of the 5,000 strong businesses connected and growing with reliable, high-speed service from Amplia.
Now it's your turn.
Because with Amplia,
you're in good company. Amplia Business.
Step into ABC Doors and Windows, where quality meets variety. Discover premium wooden, steel panel, fiberglass, and steel security doors alongside aluminum, UPVC, and steel windows designed for strength and durability. At ABC, we're always a better choice, delivering products built to last and service you can rely on. Visit our showroom at 1 Chanka Trace, El Socorro South, or call 638-7184 to make your dream home a reality.
What is he? I think I'm gonna be sick.
Oh. Caleb, are you okay? Oh my God, are you all right?
Cal! I need help! Cal!
Jackson?
Hey.
What's wrong?
It's Caleb. He's like really...
Where is he now?
It's not far. Come on, I'll show you.
Lead the way.
Be sure to catch Sullivan's Crossing, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. only on CNC3. Make sure you have yourself a great invest week by viewing The Bourse Report every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. during CNC3's The Morning Brew. You'll get sound financial advice, whether you're a new or experienced investor, when you view The Bourse Report. CNC3, covering your world.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Time Check, brought to you by the Central Bank and the National Financial Literacy Program.
Good morning, I'm Sweeney Gray with headline news on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. While Hilton's possible exit from Trinidad and Tobago is not confirmed, the development has raised fresh questions about the future of one of the country's flagship tourism assets. Former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley says the issues surrounding the hotel were known within policy-making circles and challenged the cost of the repairs as reported, saying it had been significantly understated. The former Prime Minister says he recalls the estimate to complete the required upgrade works as being closer to $600 million and not the $600,000 as reported. Dr. Rowley maintains that a structured plan had been in place before the change in administration. Amid the political back and forth, the Tourism Industry Association of Trinidad and Tobago is making a measured response. President Lisa Chandelier downplayed the immediacy of the situation, noting that upgrades are a routine part of international hotel operations. In La Romaine on Sunday, cricket bats were raised high and pink balloons drifted into the sky, while tears flowed freely as family, friends and teammates said their heartbreaking final goodbyes to slain cricketer Reshmi Deojit, who was found dead at home last Monday. Dressed in her cricket uniform, Deojit's final Hindu rites were performed as mourners wept openly. In a moving eulogy, she was described as the life of the game. Family friend Dr. Glenn Ramadar Singh called the killing tragic and deeply unsettling, and he cautioned the public to be vigilant.
Anyone can be a danger, and look for signs. There will be strange signs. You might see certain types of rage, jealousy, anger, extreme sadness, signs of mental disparity or illness. Look for them and protect yourself, protect your family, protect your loved one. This could happen to virtually anyone.
Yet another suspected arson attack has occurred in South Trinidad over the weekend. The latest occurred at Sutton Street, San Fernando, where an abandoned wooden home was completely destroyed and 3 nearby homes damaged. It occurred shortly after a police raid, but police have denied any role in the fire. A vendor told CNC3 News his fully equipped food cart was reduced to ash. Meanwhile, arsonists targeted the Sacred Choice of Heaven Mount Lebanon Spiritual Baptist Church in Claxton Bay. The 80-year-old church was secured, but around 10 p.m. on Friday, the church deacon received a call reporting flames inside the prayer area. The fire was quickly extinguished. Several bottles of gasoline were found inside. And on Saturday, Gregory Samore, his common-law wife Alison McCarthy, and their 5 children were left homeless after an arson attack on their Superior home. All 3 incidents are under investigation. Those were your 7 a.m. news headlines. We'll have another news update at 8 a.m. on the TBC Radio Network.
Welcome back to the second hour. Before we jump into the live calls with the open forum, again, kudos to the University of the Southern Caribbean for their Portraits of Excellence showcase yesterday. I had a chance to host it yet again, and I was so impressed. The talent, the poise, the delivery of the students. So kudos to Dr. Wilson, his wife, Mrs. Wilson, the entire team, the faculty there, all those who would have prepared the young people to step on that stage and shine like a diamond. So congrats again to Nicholas and to Maya, Mr. and Miss USC 2026. Shogunas is on the line. Good morning, my brother. Welcome.
Pleasant good morning, Jason.
Yes, man. Welcome, welcome.
Right. Jason, here's what I would like to wish everybody a bright and prosperous going forward week. Right, today is Monday, right? Let me go up on a good note, right? And let me look for betterment going on in the week. All right, today is Monday, right? And things could change for the better, right? Let me just apply ourselves, right? All right. Here, what I want to agree with Mr. Tabakit, was it last week Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, he called in and he made a statement that this is the ideal and the correct time for the opposition leader to distance herself from the comments made by the former Prime Minister, right? And this is the correct thing to do, right, for her, right? Because that will show a lot of leadership, that will show a lot of class, and that will show a lot of respect, right? So I couldn't agree more with Mr. Tabakit, what it is he would have said. I heard later on in the program that a lady from Diego Martin would have called in and she would have said that they're not going to do that and for him to rock so with that. Let me tell you something, Jason, I just say it as it is, right? I do pour water in my mouth to talk. That person from Diego Martin, based on how she is operating, let me tell you something. And I say this unapologetically, right? Let me tell you something, Jason. This lady don't care about the future. This lady does not care about the youth. Your son and my son, because them is tomorrow. We are not tomorrow, Jason. We don't pass. We peak already. We peak. A man life is like a triangle. The peak is 40. After that, everything comes down. So what I'm saying here is that in caring about the future, right? If it's to make a comment that she is not going to do that, and this is in such a manner, right?
But Shogunas, what I'll say is, I guess, that's what the discussions are about. It's always about two sides of the divide, because the reality is the same argument being given and the fact that, well, we haven't heard from the opposition leader yet in terms of distancing herself from what I must also agree was very distasteful remarks towards the Prime Minister. On the flip end, when the Prime Minister, now Prime Minister, a matter of fact, she was Prime Minister at the time when it was done, and Dr. Rowley in Parliament, it's on the Hansard, Shogunas, he was called a rapist. He was called an Oreo. One of the most disrespectful things to tell a man of African descent is to call him an Oreo. That's like calling him an Uncle Tom, a sellout. And there was no one, and again, I hold no brief for Dr. Rowley. Trust me, Shogunas, I never will. I repeat it again. But we have to see the two sides of that. Both were wrong, and there was no one distancing themselves from some of the remarks that was made towards Dr. Rowley back in the day. And I'm sure you remember that too, Shogunas, in all honesty. All right,
Jason, I would have heard the same thing, right? And let me tell you, speaking about sellout there, but who was selling out everything? Who was selling out everything, Jason?
No, listen, if a man sell out, he sell out, but to call a man a sellout too, you see, Shogunas, there are words of power. If I call you something derogatory, you will feel away. And the fact of the matter is, it is disrespectful on my end to call you such. We could have, again, we could disagree, but we don't have to be disagreeable. So some of the commentary from both Dr. Rowley and Kamala Persad-Bissessar has been unbecoming of people who hold leadership position in this country. And both of them need to really shape up and come better than that, to be quite honest.
And I agree with you, Jason, right? But let me tell you something, right? In connection with these last statements being made here, understand, this is not the first time, right? Rowley has made these statements about the Prime Minister. And by far and large, anybody could see, Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder could see, right, that Ms. Persad-Bissessar is a much more loving and caring and respectable Prime Minister than what waiters we had before. Understand what I'm saying? Because you could see the growth and development of the country. Yes, let us not look small and think small alone, like, you know, CPEP closed down and this and that. Why does the average man on the ground not look for something life-changing, something better like a piece of land from the government, whoever the government may be, a piece of land, a loan to start a small business, something, instead of a food card, instead of a phone card or a food card, right? And they go and they get 10 days once or twice a month, and they're just living on pittance. Come on. You understand? People need to grow up and people need to think big. Understand what I'm saying? And back to the statement, wait till that lady would have made. I am saying this to you, Jason. That lady, right? That lady does not care about the future. Right?
Well, I mean, there
are some people in society, Jason. Let me tell you something. They're collecting a pension, right? They're collecting a pension and they may have paid off their house and everything like that. And all they're studying is bacchanal and confusion. They ain't studying what's being put in place for tomorrow.
But Shogunas, we'll stick up in there for now. Thanks as always for the commentary. And I mean, we can't say that as fact. We don't know Ms. Duga Martin personally to assume she doesn't care about the future. But again, that's what the discussions are about, Shogunas. It's the both sides of the divide and people coming strong with their perspective. Let's head to Faizabad now. Faizo, good morning.
Good morning, Brother Jason.
Faizo, good morning, brother.
Trinidad and Tobago. Jason, I am not surprised by the utterances and the description of the Prime Minister by Dr. Rowley, because it's a language that he has used many times before to describe the Prime Minister. So it is something embedded in his mind. You understand? It's intrinsic in him. So I'm not surprised. But what I'm disappointed about is that the way it was reported in the media, you know, I think there should have been some restraint and class with respect to the reporting. I know normally when you report, you would put it up on the screen without using the verbals and put asterisks, you know, to spell out the word. You follow what I'm saying, Jason?
Yeah, but I mean, since when we have this, I mean, the thing is, and
the reason I'm saying that I've seen it in the past. I've seen it done in the past. But more than that, public opinion and somewhat, you know, justified or unjustified, is that the CNC3 is pro-opposition and anti-government.
Oh, serious?
When
okay.
I would
so why people like yourself get such a platform to express yourself, and I don't stop you at all, Faizabad?
I'm saying it's not me. Understand what I'm saying? I can only say what is on the ground.
Now, the ground probably don't listen, and I don't feel the ground really.
I'm not. That is not my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Yes, so don't take it like that. Don't try to run off on me.
No. I just let you know that you see you're still putting utterance out there.
And rightfully or wrongfully, you know, I don't know. I don't know because, you know, I saw recently there was a release that a prominent financer of a political party were making overtures to buy CNC3. I don't know how true that is. That is also on the ground.
Yeah, that's in the public domain. That's in the public domain, but we don't know of any facts concerning that development.
So then all those things might raise a little bit of suspicion. But anyway, let me move on.
You know what I realize, Faizabad? Once there's any media house, so we go through it sometimes, and of course, our friends down on Independence Square. Once you're not in favor of a particular administration or you criticize the administration, all of a sudden you're always deemed anti-government and pro-opposition. And I find that to be so disingenuous and so poor. And these are the same people, when they are in opposition, they will all of a sudden find themselves and make time to sit down, you know. When in government, they don't come sit down, you know, Faizabad.
I don't want you to miss the
No, I understand what you're saying, but I'm also bringing factual, what you're saying your reality, and I'm letting you know what's also a reality with these folks who hold office. We can't trust them.
I am here and I know, I see and I feel, I know.
Yeah.
But But the thing is, I heard Dr. Rowley again, when I read the article yesterday on the newspaper, that Hilton was about to shut down or looking to exit.
Yes.
Is the word that was used. And so I would have looked, and in the article it said that it is very unusual that in 2024 they would have renewed the contract for a year. Yes?
Yeah.
So clearly the drawing was up on the board. The other thing is that Dr. Rowley is saying that the repairs and the renovation would have been in the tune of $600 million. I want you to take this figure down. $600 million could probably give you $2 Hilton, US dollars, that is, because you quoted in here.
Yeah,
so I want all to do some investigation on that and find out whether there's any validity in what now Dr. Rowley is reporting, because the papers are saying 600,000.
Yeah, that it's on page 5. A matter of fact, you're correct, Faisal. It's saying
And
they
so
upgraded.
we need, because Dr. Rowley seems to be very mischievous. He's sometimes a stranger to the truth.
Well, all right.
With the petrotrin. Yes?
Well, Faisal,
we need to do some investigative journalism and bring the facts to the people and not have them speculating.
Well, all right, Faisal, I'll ask some questions for Sean. I want to thank you for the commentary. But again, Faisal, we have to recognize that these politicians have the ability. It's very rare to find someone truly genuine in this space, because they say and they say one thing once they're in opposition, and it's a totally different argument once they're behind the wheel. And we see it on both sides of the divide. It's not no one party doing it. That is just the unfortunate ethos and order of the day, and I think it must change. We must call for better. We must call for better. So thanks again, Faisal. Let's head to Enterprise. Good morning.
Captain J, good morning.
Good morning, Enterprise. I'm listening, man. Go ahead.
Good morning to all the viewers.
Yes.
I just want to touch slightly on 2 points. I'll make it short. There are some people who don't understand. There are other people who need to come and present whatever. Just one of the things that really is very heartbreaking is that with the bus, especially at the terminus in Port of Spain, Jason, not only me, all travelers, Chagonas people have an issue with getting buses on time. Jason, last week, I remember going to there several occasions. I traveled the bus. I could be a millionaire, I still travel the bus. Right, Jason? And when you watch little children, Jason, little school children, 5, 6, 7, Jason, remember they have to get up early in the morning, prepare. Little youth, you understand, Jason? Go to school, and when they come about all 3 o'clock, all right, bus will be there 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock, no bus. The children and them exhausted, they sleepy and all different kind of things, Jason. I will be watching that. I feel to cry, Jason. I understand all 7 o'clock children now going home. They're sleeping on their mother. When they reach home, Jason, they could do any homework. What are they going to do, Jason? That's why we have to look at it, not only about finances, but about the little ones. Because if we treat them in that way, how are they going to grow up, Jason? How? You understand what I'm saying, Captain?
Yeah, man, I hear you.
That's thing I want to touch on, Jason. The people in administration, Jason, let me be real. It's always about the last administration and the last 10 years, everything they're always bringing up. That is rubbish. Let me go forward, Jason, in a positive way. Forget about the last thing. And you understand what I'm saying, Jason? Always casting aspersion on different things, Jason. This is one of my problems, brother. And I want to say one more thing short. Now we have a lot of people who regularly make their comments and things, but let me exercise a little empathy and remind that every daddy week you want to come on the program and talk to their popular person. And that's how I see Jason. Oh God, twice a week or something, I let other people get a chance, because when some people call line busy, line busy, and it's the same person yesterday and things. Have a blessed day, stay safe, stay strong, peace, love, and goodness to all the citizens in China, Bago. Love, love, love. Bye.
All right, Enterprise. So we had Enterprise today, Shogunas and Faisal. And I mean, listen, regular callers bringing the commentary. And listen, sometimes I will always challenge. And my challenge is really for folks to step into this space, be genuine, be real. Let's treat with Trinidad and Tobago. Let's deal with dignity and decency. And again, I call it as I see it. We have seen leaders, people who hold the highest office, drop the ball time and time again. We can't just see it on one side. We have to ask for betterment for the next generation of leaders to step up. Because these old tiger egg, them, it's like a branch that bend, it don't bend. It can't change. And I said last week when I was having that discussion with political scientists, that the venom and the kind of the bitterness, we need to take it out, that adversarial style. Yes, we know it's a tough space, but it can be so bitter because what we're going to wait for till somebody jump over a table and it's somebody around house, a Chuck Norris. And may Chuck Norris rest in peace, by the way. Let's get ready for the fire service, never services, fire service, fire safety tips. Jude Rogers, acting fire sub-officer. He joins me next.
Join us at the Trinidad and Tobago Disaster Risk Management Conference and Expo from June 1st to 3rd. Step into 3 full conference days of presentations, panels, and learning labs that mirror real disaster risk scenarios, including national power outages, disaster risk finance, and sustainable urban planning, waste and debris management. Register now at www.ttdrm.com/register now.
Did you know a business degree leads to diverse career opportunities and advancement? Start an internationally recognized business degree from the world-ranked University of Hertfordshire at CTS College. Classes are 1 day per week, with mostly assignment-based assessments. Plus, with 3 intakes per year and flexible payment options, getting started is easy. Holders of an associate degree, advanced diploma or ABE Level 5 diploma can complete this program in only 12 months. Call CTS College today and find out how you can get $6,000 off.
Looking for the ultimate gaming experience? Welcome to Phase 22 Gaming Lounge, where gamers of all ages come to play, compete, and have fun. Dive into your favorite games on PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, or race on our high-tech racing rigs. And experience the thrill of VR with PlayStation and Meta Quest. Our lounge is safe, comfortable, and perfect for everyone. When you're done, check out the latest gaming systems, accessories, and even Samsung and Apple phones. Visit us on the 2nd floor of Gulf City Mall or call 786-2404 to book your gaming session today.
Jude Rogers joins me live on set this morning. Fire sub-officer, the acting role is confirmed. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
In that regard. Great to see you, Jude, and by all means, a very timely discussion because up to this morning, on my way to the studio, I'll sometimes drive the glass down to get the early morning breeze. I had to wind up, you know?
Yes.
Smoke in the atmosphere. Clearly, it looked like it was a fire in the landfill.
Yeah.
Is that common practice? And of course, welcome as always. Good morning.
Well, the challenge again, we're in the dry season, and if I might say so, this season starts officially based on the Agricultural Fires Act from the 1st of December of the previous year and runs all the way to June 30th of this current year. And so this is a time when we're inundated with unwanted, or what we will call uncontrolled fires, much of which, Jason, is started by human interaction.
So we're looking at the screen here, and obviously people have to drive through this. It's hazardous. It's not good for the environment. It's not good for those with respiratory problems. And you all obviously, you have to, I guess, is it a waste of your resources? And I mean, clearly, I mean, if you get called out, you have to go, yeah. But you could be treating with something else.
That is correct. That's correct. And so let me just give you a little bit of the statistics that support that argument that you just brought forward. We have a situation in Trinidad where we've been dealing with over 3,000 bushfires annually.
3,000, you still me?
And in some years, it really points to the fact that we're dealing with, as a fire service, quite a large amount of fires situated mainly in our northern Central and Southern divisions. Tobago does have just about 10% of the fires, bushfires that we have, is accounted for by the Tobago division. So they're not escaping the inundation of fires. But the Northern and Southern division accounts for over 70% of all the bushfires in Trinidad and Tobago. That's a telling statistic. And as you drive along the nation's roadway and as you venture into the forested areas, you're going to see quite a bit of deforestation taking place as a result of these, what I would say, uncontrolled fires.
Is it slash and burn people still practicing in 2026?
That is one of the factors, but there's also the the clear, blatant disregard for the environment, where we have persons who are literally flicking cigarette butts out of the vehicles, discarding glass bottles, which does have an impact. As you would tell, through the meteorological services, they've been advising us of the hot spells. We have temperatures in excess of 35 degrees in some instances. When you amplify the heat and the ground surface temperatures together with those discarded bottles, you're going to have the magnification of those pieces of bottles that can cause fires to begin. And again, the deliberate starting of fires is one of the major issues that we have. Slash and burn being one of them. Land clearing for development is one of them as well. And then we have the normal highways and byways that persons disregard as they traverse the nation's roadway.
So glass really could cause a fire?
It does.
Wow. Because I've always heard it, but it's really unbelievable. And we have 365 days in a year, and if you're telling me 3,000 bushfires, that is
a staggering figure.
Staggering.
It is indeed.
I find myself looking at the news cycle, and I'm seeing arson attacks. And sad to say, I'm seeing where somebody would have attacked a house of worship. Yeah. I mean, the disregard. Right? Look, homes razed, church targeted in suspected arson attacks. This story on page 8. Where are we going with this?
So unfortunately, in Trinidad and Tobago, when persons want to perpetrate a crime or to attack persons, they believe that they can utilize arson or raising of fire. Willful raising of fire is one of the mechanisms by which they can do that. And it has been coming to our attention. We do investigate all fires, all structural fires, and once we find evidence of that, Jason, we would put together a case and we take that evidence to the police, and then we ask the police to respond by way of criminal investigation. Because as you know, an incendiary fire or an arson fire is one that carries, especially if life is lost, it has the same significance as murder.
Yeah, for sure. That is a serious charge.
Yes.
But how does one, without probably going into the intimate details, through your years and experience in the field, could you tell, based on the investigation, if it's an arson attack compared to, like, let's say if it's an electrical fire, just a unfortunate circumstance?
Definitely. And over the years, based on our training, based on the expertise and the certification that we've had, there's a particular scientific process that we follow under the National Fire Protection Association 921. And when we follow that guideline, we can scientifically reach a diagnosis or reach a conclusion which will either point to accidental, point to incendiary, or it may be that we are unable to ascertain. So those are the three outcomes that we look at. And if, of course, we find arson being the cause, we will have definitely more than one indicators to point to that. And the evidence is there. We document it and we present the evidence. And I want to say this, Jason. We have taken cases to the police where persons have been brought before the court for arson. I remember in my younger days, in the fire service, we would have investigated, and persons have been brought before the court and charged for arson. And in that particular case, the person would have caused the death of a young person, and that they are being committed for murder via arson. And so there have been successful cases where the police and the fire service have worked together, and perpetrators have been brought before the court and convicted.
Thanks for that piece of information, very important. Before we wrap things up, Officer Rogers, some safety tips, just some quick reminders as we continue in this dry season. You said we might go up until June 30th before we could say we're out of this dry spell?
Well, I want to say to the nation that the dry spell is going to continue. During the month of April, it has always pointed to March and April being the hottest period and having the most amount of fires, averaging sometimes in some cases over 1,000 fires in those particular months. So we want persons to be very cautious about that. If you have not already done so, Jason, I'm asking that you look at your property and you cut a fire trace around your property. You want to create a 5 to 15 feet exclusion of the vegetation around the fence line and ensure that it's cut down to the dirt so that when and if a fire does reach that border line, it's not going to cross. If you have trees that are overhanging, you want to trim those because the fallen parts of those trees can get into your guttering, especially if it's wooden in nature, the eave, and that can, and we have had instances, Jason, where bush fires have led to house fires.
Because of
that connection to the vegetation. And Jason, I'm sure you've seen properties where you have vines running all up the side of the property. Persons need to clean as they go. That whole process of cleaning properties and maintaining the fence line is so critical.
What's that word you'll say? Is the embers you'll call it?
The embers.
And it sometimes could, it's going through the atmosphere and then it could land on, let's say, dry leaves. And that could start.
And everything is extremely dry at this point in time. So it's very easy to raise a fire in this situation. But more importantly, if I were to leave a message with persons, please seek a fire permit from the fire service. You have to seek a fire permit at this point in time. The permit only costs $10. You can visit the nearest fire station. And it is better to do any sort of burning with the guidance of the fire service and legally. Persons who are keeping the rubbish heap fires, the little bonfires at the back of your property, and you're doing so illegally. And I know persons, we're flaunting the law, and I'm saying that there's going to come a point in time when the fire service is going to address these issues, and it's going to be very serious because we are being affected as a nation, and we need to respond to these issues.
Jude Rogers, fire sub-officer, very important information. Of course, Officer Rogers will always take time out of his schedule to treat with information, just enlightening myself and the public looking on as to ways to go forward in a responsible and I would say responsible manner. Responsibility is the key. Yeah, we take the pause. We come back and get you ready for the Grand Rounds lecture series, colorectal cancer awareness, a very important conversation ahead.
One-stop, most convenient, most helpful, most caring community pharmacy. Our pharmaceutical services include dispensing medicines, repeat dispensing, clinical governance. But we also have a fully stocked convenience store featuring our refreshment aisle, grocery lane, personal care products, toys, pet supplies. We are most conveniently located out of the traffic, just 2 minutes off the highway in Heartland Plaza, Endeavour, Chaguanas. Contact us on 220-8705 or 470-5938 and visit us soon.
PRWC, protect your loved ones with a Western Global Security Combo, only $3,000. PS5 console game, $5,400. Unwind with an 85-inch Samsung TV, $9,999. HP 14-inch laptop for $1,900. Amazon 8-inch Fire tablet, $760. HP print scan copy printer, $625. We have speakers, mouse, printers, and lots more. 3 months layaway also available.
Is mealtime more of a chore than a cherished time? Does a lack of appetite keep your family, young and old, from getting the nourishment they need? Introducing Apetamin, the gentle, effective appetite stimulant designed for every age. Apetamin helps spark the natural desire to eat, turning hesitant nibbles into satisfying meals. Watch as food becomes exciting again, fueling growth, energy, and shared moments around the table. Give your body the gift of a joyful appetite. Find Apetamin in pharmacies nationwide.
Alejandro, you're still alive.
Mr. Alejandro! Mrs. Lucia! Mrs. Lucia, come quick, Mr.
Alejandro! My goodness! You're so... Sophia!
Don't miss the gripping drama Cabo. Sundays at 8 p.m. only on CNC3.
This is more than just music. This is where you find the best of TNT. This is more than just a vibe. This is where Bollywood gets a twist. This is more than just energy. This is Bhangra and indie pop too. This is the mix. This is the life. Lock on or log on now. Sangeet 106.1 FM. This is authentic East Indian radio. This is us.
Get the story first. Want to know what's happening in news, sports, or crime? Get the CNC3 app. As the story breaks, CNC3 is there giving you the story first on your mobile device. Be connected to the most trusted and reliable news source, CNC3. Access your world with just a tap. The CNC3 app. Download it today.
Volleyball filmmakers, producers, content creators, influencers, and recording artists. If you're looking to rent a versatile studio space with green screen, video wall, cyclorama, and more, look no further. GM Labs is here to make your dreams a reality. Located in the heart of Port of Spain on St. Vincent Street, GM Labs is your one-stop shop for all your creative needs with over 2,800 square feet to work with. Take your creative concept to the final product at GM Labs. Give us a call or WhatsApp or message us on our Instagram and Facebook pages at GM Labs TT.
Make sure you have yourself a great invest week by viewing The Boss Report every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. during CNC3's The Morning Brew. You'll get sound financial advice, whether you're a new or experienced investor, when you view The Boss Report. CNC3, covering your world.
Sportsmanship is when an athlete walks off the court and you can't tell if he won or lost because he carries himself with pride either way. This quote is an embodiment of sport, and for me, sport is an embodiment of life. We are where you are.
Do you mind? I'm waiting for someone. What is your problem? Rafe? Oh. I didn't know you owned a motorcycle.
Today is your lucky day. Come on, hop on. There you go.
The road is wide open, there's no one for miles around.
Don't miss the drama Sullivan's Crossing, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. only on CNC3.
Professionals and those within the sphere, this is right up your alley. It's a really amazing coming together of minds to bring more awareness and to bring added value to this particular fight when we consider cancer and what comes with that particular disease. And I can tell you, information is key, and that's what this particular lecture series is about. The Grand Rounds lecture series is happening on Friday, this Friday, Friday 27th, at the Community Hospital. So that's when you go on the Western Main Road and you make the roundabout and heading back to St. James, right by the Cocorit area there. That's where the Community Hospital is located. And to give us all the intimate details, Dr. Winston Charles in the flesh, bright and early.
Good morning.
Good to see you, Dr. Charles.
Good to see you too, Jason. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you. Now, this lecture series is primarily for those within the space, health professionals. Right. What you anticipate would be their greatest takeaway for those who attend on Friday?
Right. So the intent of Grand Rounds actually is to make sure that we increase sensitization among healthcare practitioners and budding healthcare practitioners to some of the more high-level issues that are occurring in healthcare. We look at trends. For example, in this week's Grand Rounds, we are looking at colorectal cancer in the Caribbean. If you look back, we realize that we have an increase in the incidence and prevalence of cancer in Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean. And it's something that a lot of people have a lot of negative dispositions to. When you hear, or you have been diagnosed with cancer, the first thing is, am I going to die? And death becomes the looming issue around cancer. What we're trying to do is to have people become a little bit more sensitized and understand the sequelae of cancer, and understand that if we do early detection, early screening, early detection, it would not be such a bad thing after all, because your options for treatment are better and your outcomes are actually better. The whole ground round concept comes from the fact that we are trying to make sure that as healthcare practitioners, we get together, look at patterns, sharpen our tools for detection, treatment, diagnosis, and to make sure that we are actually doing the best that we can do to improve the outcomes that we're going to be having.
So I'm seeing, of course, many medical professionals would have, on the same seat or via the Zoom line, always speak towards early detection, practical management, and I realize it's a point that's being reinforced, and it's so important, as we always say, listen to your body.
Absolutely.
As you feel something strange. Everything can be gas, doctor.
Correct.
You know?
Correct.
And we find ourselves sometimes always going down that road, and it's only when, as they say, it's too late. People, if things really get severe, then they come in. How do we change that particular culture and mindset?
And this is one of the forums that we're hoping that will help, because when we have healthcare practitioners and professionals who are sensitized enough, they now send the message out, making sure that we let the populace understand that healthcare cannot be a reaction. You have to be proactive about it. I mean, let's face it, we would take our vehicles to the mechanic shop, make sure that everything is working as best as possible. We would take care of the maintenance of our homes. We would do everything that we can to make sure everything around us is really looking good. But our own personal real estate, we put it on the back burner. We are reactive to our health, and we need to be proactive about it. Yeah, early screening is very, very important. Making sure that you're going to the doctor not because you're sick, but because you don't want to be sick.
Yeah.
And that's the disposition.
I've always said the less I see you, the better for me, you know? Because I mean, I'm doing something correct.
Don't avoid us, Jason. Don't avoid us.
You know, I mean, you have to do your checkup and stuff, but it can't be that, you know, every time, because, you know, you're not seeing about yourself, and you know, because I'm actually due for my annual checkup. That's due. I do it around my birthday, so it's next month. So I do it every year. I'm over 40 now, so I've,
good.
You know,
and you carry it well.
Yes,
very good.
Yes,
and we need to also put a little caveat out there, because I know that a lot of people wait for their annual checkup, and that's good. It's good that you have it on your calendar to do it every year. But as you grow older, you'd want to do it more often.
Probably twice a year.
Twice a year. Yeah. Yes, to make sure that you're being screened. If you have a lifestyle disease, you would probably want to do it quarterly, and make sure that you're checking all your numbers. Know your numbers, make sure that you understand the importance of these numbers, and be checking and trending, so you would look for early deterioration and be able to get in on the care that you need to have.
That's great advice. I guess if there's an NCD and you're carrying that every quarter, so that's 4 times a year.
Yes.
You come in and check up on yourself, so great advice. Doc, as to the other speakers, the moderator, who's going to be taking center stage on Friday?
So that would be Dr. Andrews, Dr. Lena Andrews, and she would be looking at colorectal cancer in the Caribbean. She has a lot of knowledge and information with regards to the prevalence, the treatment, and the trends that has been set in colorectal cancer. And we want to raise awareness to that particular type of cancer, because we have seen an increase in the frequency and the trend in colorectal cancer in Trinidad also. So we want to raise awareness and let people understand that it's important for us to be checking, screening. A lot of, especially males, has this inhibition about making sure that you get at least a colonoscopy by age 50. Well, we don't want to do that. Prostate checks, we don't want to do that because it's highly invasive, and people don't want any invasive type of screening to be done. But I'll tell you, there are other mechanisms that could be used, ultrasounds and other lab testing that we can do to pick up information that would be indicators as to whether or not you're heading down that trend. So don't be apprehensive. What we want you to do is to be very conscious about the significance of your health and take the steps that are needed, especially the male factors in our community.
No, well said, Dr. Charles. Let me ask, as it pertains to Friday's engagement, is this a face-to-face engagement? Yes, I would imagine so, yes. But is there also an online component? That's really what I want to find out.
Yeah, actually you have hit a very important part, because we are looking at the online option currently, setting the stage for that, making sure that we can have that feature so that more individuals would be able to participate in this activity. We do not have a song platform at the moment, but we're working very, very hard on making sure that we can establish that, because Tobago has been calling and saying, of course, we want to get involved. And we are looking at setting up an online platform to make that happen.
I think it should, and that will be important. I will get the message out even more. So this is based on getting a request. I would imagine those who are looking only have piqued their interest, people in the medical sphere. If they want to attend, what's the process?
So what the process is that you would contact us at the community hospital and let us know that you are interested in attending, and we would go ahead and put you on the register. We would register you because we want to take care of every individual that attend, and we want to give you a certificate of participation. So you would call in, register, and we would get you on, and we would give you the details for making sure that you can be part of the Grand Round. The Grand Round series.
And I got the location correct, right? You go up Western Main Road, hit the roundabout by West Mall, coming back towards St. James, but it's by the Cookery there, by the flyover.
Yes.
Yes.
The overpass. The
overpass. Give me flyover. Overpass. Yeah. Flyover. Oh, God. Yeah. Yes. Overpass. Dr. Charles, I want to thank you, man. It's been a great conversation, and I really appreciate the effort you made to be here with us live this morning.
Thank you. You're very welcome, and make sure that we work together. We want to make sure that we work together to ensure that we get the word out that healthcare is very important. Thank you for having me.
Indeed. Pleasure. We take the pause and we come back with Dr. Jeremiah Mason, Baptist Senior Archbishop, as we treat with Liberation Day. See you soon.
GB's Chai Gold 3-in-1 chai lattes come pre-mixed for an easy instant treat. Simply add 1 sachet to hot water, stir, and enjoy. We maintain that authentic homemade taste you love with no added preservatives, as each sachet includes real tea, creamer, and sugar. Available in a wide range of flavors: elaichi, masala, ginger, French vanilla, lemongrass, saffron, and cadet. And their new delicious caramel flavor, available at supermarkets nationwide. For wholesale information, contact LG Wholesalers. Visit Tire Clinic Marketing, New Truck and OTR Tire Service Center at number 30 and 32 Montrose Main Road, Chabonas. Call today at 665-8973 or 672-3419. Alignment services available. Tire Clinic Marketing, Truck and OTR Service Center. A tire for every need.
From all over Trinidad and Tobago, Anil wrapping roti at lightning fast speed.
Sandra nailing every order in her hardware.
Lisa, who is in sync with style. There is no buffering at her boutique.
And Dr. Alex filling prescriptions with care. They're all part of the 5,000 strong businesses connected and growing with reliable, high-speed service from Amplia.
Now it's your turn.
Because with Amplia,
you're in good company. Amplia Business.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry, premier insurance coverage for less.
For over 50 years, we served communities across Trinidad. But growth isn't about standing still. It's about choosing what comes next. Introducing Passad's The Food King Grand Market Barapo, a new standard for the South. The Grand Market is where community meets quality. Our newly launched Via Bakery offers our fresh breads and pastries that are made daily. From the spices that flavor your meals to the moments that bring families together. And when it's time to slow down, our cafe offers a place to pause, connect, and enjoy the moment. From fresh meats prepared with care to aisles filled with the choices families trust and prices that put people first. Every day, families trust us with the moments that matter most, the meals they share, the traditions they keep, and the memories they create. And that's a responsibility we carry with pride. Bigger, fresher, thoughtfully built. The Grand Market Barapur, because at the heart of everything we do, quality and value, that's our way.
Tune in to Betterments with host Bass, Monday through Thursday, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. for a program that educates and is solution-based. Bass tackles the issues that matter to you, providing a platform to speak your mind and find solutions. That's Betterments with Bass, with a focus on education and resolution. This is all about making things better for you. So if you want to make a difference and have your voice heard, tune into Freedom 106.5 FM and join us for Betterments with Bass, Monday through Thursday from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Better for you. Only on Freedom 106.5 FM, where we believe that your voice matters.
इठी, तुझे पुलिस ने हिरासत में क्यों लिया था? क्या किया तूने? इसमें मेरी कोई गलती नहीं। क्या बोल रही है?
Uttaran, more drama, more emotion. Uttaran, weekdays at 6 p.m. on CNC3.
Our connection is reliable, credible, and authentic. Thank you for trusting me to bring you the news. It's a privilege to be in your homes and hearts. With every story and every newscast, CNC3 is keeping you informed and inspired. When it comes to news, we are where you are.
I got a bone to pick with you. Ladies, I'm talking about that 90-day thing. Well, so how that's bothering you? Oh, I'm gonna tell you how it's bothering me. I figure like this, ladies, if you're in your 20s, wait 90 days. If you're in your 30s, wait 60 days. If you're in your 40s, wait 30 days. But if you're over 50, jump on it.
I always look forward to discussions with the First Patriarch and Shouter Baptist Senior Archbishop, Dr. Jeremiah Mason. I would have learned so much with our discussions over the years, and I recall the last time we spent lots of focus and lots of time on some of the struggles and the history and from then to now, and I think it's appropriate to treat with the present and the way forward. And the fact that you're here with us yet again, I thank you so much, Archbishop. And we say welcome and happy Shouter Baptist Liberation Day.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Let me ask, before we even get into some of the recent developments, I know there are many who say Spiritual Baptist Liberation Day, Shouter Baptist Liberation Day. What do you say, Archbishop?
Shouter Baptist.
Yes.
Yes, because it derives from us shouting our way to victory. It wasn't just clapping, because we are Shouter Baptists.
Indeed. Thank you for that clarification. What's the day like? Walk me through what takes place on the holiday itself and some of the work that you've been doing. I know you have a foundation and other major initiatives in the community.
What we do at our archdiocese, we honor those of whom have served in the Baptist, spiritual shouter Baptists, years of their struggles. We visit them, pay compliments to them. That's on that end. Then we visit our nation's children's, we'll say, home. We do visitation and counsel those of who needs counseling. And of course, we have the rejoicing part of it. I do not wish to go on and go on because there's so much to discuss.
Indeed. I recognize there's lots of emphasis on your ancestors, on legacy. That seems to be very important in the faith.
Of course. Because if it was not for our ancestors that had made up their mind to, let's say, challenge and when you say government, it would mean court.
Yes.
To let them know it's not right that every creed and race of religion, get that clear what I mean, have an equal place to worship, and we are beaten and told that we cannot worship. So we had to fight. To fight, that's the word.
Yes.
To say it's not fair. So our ancestors, you see how I'm doing my face?
Yes.
Our ancestors endured hardship.
Yes, and you're still here. And
I'm sorry, what I want to say as I'm here, to the youthful spiritual Baptists, it's time for them to understand. And when I say our ancestor, I'm speaking me too, because I was holding the hem of my elder's garment
as a child.
So I am one of the ancestors that have struggled to have the spiritual Baptist faith where it is today. And at times I'm not straying from the point. I'm sometimes watching social media and I'm seeing the conduct of some of the spiritual Baptist people who is carrying on like if it's a joke. So I'm sending a message, whether who is pleased or who is not pleased. It's time to get hold of themselves and understand that we fought, including myself, we fought to have recognition and respect in and for the spiritual Baptist faith.
Thank you for that indeed. As it pertains to service, what days will normally be the big service and what's your timing and duration of service?
Well, I would keep normal mass for the parishioners or members of my communion. But my favorite girl is Archbishop Burke. So I would go and spend the day with her. So whether I stay an hour with her or half an hour or what have you, I would just go at her.
That's right, that's right. And that service involves, of course, the word, of course, song, the drum, the rhythm. Tell me about the importance of the drum, because I know the drum in itself, that instrument carries so much significance. It tells our story.
Yes. Well, the drum came from ancestral Africa. Also, it came from ancestral India, because when we moan, it's too long to guide you through. The drum is when you moan, and you have messages.
We hear about the moaning ground.
Yes, you get messages through the drums.
You know, I would really, because again, time, because I would love to get some more details in that regard. But let me ask you, as we look to wind down, I'll give you a chance, obviously, to put to say a prayer on the important day itself. But I want to find out about the foundation. How can folks get in contact with you and be part of what you're doing to engage and impact the community?
Well, of course. Simple Simon. My numbers are 3259251, and I'm His Excellency Dr. Jeremiah Mason, and of course my I did not do as my ancestors, where they had to build cathedrals or churches on the hill. I gave it to them. I spent my money and gave it to them right on the priority bus route next to Wassa. So I am just at a finger through. As you come out of the Maxi, you would see me.
Excellent. Could you, as we look to wrap things up, lead us in a word of prayer?
In regards to what?
The holiday itself and the faith and all the faithful looking on this morning. We have about a minute or so.
And ever-wise God, firstly, I bring our heads of the spiritual Baptist faith, including myself. We ask you to continue to give them the courage of endurance. We pray also for our spiritual Baptist youths. We pray also for our nation's youths. We pray also for all staff at Morning Brew and the entire media fraternity and as a whole, our country. We pray, God, that our lives will be restored.
Your Excellency, Dr. Jeremiah Mason, First Patriarch and Senior Archbishop of the Faith. I want to thank you as always.
Among the guys, well, my fathers have gone, who consecrated me Archbishop, so I'm the oldest, although I'm not pushy. But I'm good in my clothes.
Of course you are.
And they know that well. But I'm the most senior Archbishop in Trinidad and Tobago.
And that's why
despite who comes or who goes.
And that's why it's always an honor to have you and for you to take the time. You were here before even me this morning.
Yes, I'm here 4 a.m. seated. You see, when you moan, this is what I'm saying. I have to make time when I come back from Washington, D.C. to speak with the youthful Baptists. When you moan, you develop patience.
Yes, yes.
I went sometime to a place and someone told me, she would spite me. I said, really? You don't know my endurance. And I whipped her for the day. I said, I'm going to skip lunch. She said, she became my friend. She said, over to you.
Dr. Mason,
yes,
indeed a pleasure.
A pleasure meeting you. Yes, I usually bring this just to say what we are doing, so this is something to pass on also. Care of you.
Yes, and Akisha. Akisha, we will definitely read this. As we look to wrap things up, we say sincere thanks for being a part of it this morning, TNT, and God spare, I'm back for more tomorrow. Have a great one, TNT, and thanks for tuning in. Dr. Mesa?